Hi, good morning. My name is Michelle and I'm from the salon. And today we're going to go over how to mix bleaches because the consistency when mixing bleaches is pretty important when you're going to highlight or do any kind of lifting, because the thicker the bleach, the faster the bleach is going to actually move. So when highlighting, certain stylists like certain consistencies. A little bit thicker or a little bit thinner, but you have to take into consideration, again, if it's thick, it's going to move faster, so you may want to use a lower volume developer to compensate for that. Today we're going to do a 20 volume developer, which is pretty standard, and we're going to show how to mix bleach. So I'm going to start with a blue powder bleach, and I'm going to use probably about a half a scoop, so you can actually see when mixing, and I'm just going to put it right into my bowl, and I'm going to start with my 20 volume developer, but I am going to mix this very slow, because if you use too much then it's going to be just way too thin. So I'm going to start with just a little squirt, probably about equal, and I'm going to start to mix that. And as the bleach sits, it does thicken. So you do want to take that into consideration. So when I mix my bleach, I mix and then I kind of wait a little bit and then I mix a little bit more. But 15 minutes into it, it does thicken even more. So sometimes I like to bring the developer out to the station with me and then mix a little bit about 15 minutes into it. So today I'm just going to show you, as it sat, it did start to thicken. So again, it's going to even thicken more 15 minutes into it. So I'm going to start with it a little bit thinner, so I don't have to and again, every colorist likes their own consistency. I start with mine a hairline thinner, I think, than most people. And that's just my preference and how I work. So this is probably the consistency that I like to start with. And if you look at it, maybe even just a little bit more. It's more like a whipped cream almost. That's about my consistency. Not too thin, not too thick. It will spread. But 15 minutes into it, I'm going to show you something that I mixed just a little while ago. So this is what happens 15 minutes into it, which this is much thicker. Than this. This is definitely a little more ruddy, and you can look at the consistency and see that one is definitely thicker than the other. So again, you have to compensate in how fast you want this to move and how thin you want this to be. And that's it. That's how you mix bleach.